Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to this career on Motorsport Manager. We're back with round 7 today, the British Grand Prix, as we continue our quest to resurrect the Williams team to their heyday of the 80s and the early 90s. We do have the British Grand Prix coming up, as I just said, our home Grand Prix being Williams. It's a track that I've been looking forward to pretty much to testing our car on, because as you can see, the engine, the suspension, the rear wing, all crucial here. The engine, one of our better parts in the car at the moment. The suspension and rear wing, also two of our better parts in the car at the moment. Hopefully we're going to have a pretty decent race here. Esteban Ocon has been performing above expectations early on in the season. In the second race in Doha and then the third race in China, he had 2 second place finishes. He's been in the points ever since then, would have been in the points for the first race as well, but he had an unfortunate crash in Sydney. Sergei Sorokin, meanwhile, he's doing alright, on expectation, maybe a tiny little bit above expectation, but yeah, he's possibly not going to be here, maybe the reserve driver next year. I'm not really going to get into what we're going to be doing with the drivers for next season, who we're going to be chasing. Going to leave that as a little bit of a surprise. So the first episode of season 3, where we go over the new drivers across every sort of team in the game, we will know, it will be more of a surprise at that point who we've put into the second seat in the Williams. Obviously, possibly not going to be Sorokin. Meanwhile, we do have £60 million in the bank. As we know, it takes only about 54. Did we pay last time? 45, even less than I was thinking. So we've got a little bit of room to work on the HQ. So we're going to go and upgrade the 2 parts of the HQ that are still only level 1. So we're going to get a new brakes R&D facility built, which is going to cost £10 million. And we're also going to do the handling development centre, which are also going to go some way to improving Esteban Ocon stats, and maybe the guy that we bring in next season if he's got a little bit of potential as well. As for the car, as you can see, our overall rating is 6 at the moment. We're a little bit better than average, which is, I think, is maybe the first time. I can't remember if we were there the last race, but it's the first time we're actually a little bit better than average. Our engine has fallen behind because we haven't built any new engine upgrades this season. We've fallen behind the Red Bull team, but it's still pretty strong here, a lot better than average. As we can see, the rear wing is a lot better than average as well. So the Aero package is really good. The engine is decent as well. But the gearbox and the brakes is where we need a lot of work to do, which is what we're going to be concentrating on heading into the Milan race, where we can introduce new upgrades. Other than that, I don't think there's much to do. Just going to check the pit crew real quick, so no mistakes on the guys here. Obviously, there shouldn't be any parts that need fixing, so we're just going to leave those 2 guys there. They do have a chance of mistakes, but we're not going to really need those during the race. So we're just going to pick PNC here. If we can get 3rd or above would be amazing. Obviously S595 before bonuses is if we put Lance Stroll in during practice. We can't pick the tyres because they are all pre-distributed, and both guys are happy with the car. So we're going to jump into the race weekend now, practice off camera as usual, and we'll be back in a second for qualifying, where it's going to be heavy rain, so hopefully that's not going to throw the qualifying session into too much turmoil. Do want it to sort of stick around where we are, but as we know, the bottom 5 cars do come out pretty early. It sometimes messes those up, so a potential for a good qualifying session either way here, and we'll be back in a second for that. So here we go with qualifying. Sorokin actually a long way ahead of the rest of the field here. I sent him out a little bit earlier, clicking on the button a little bit too early. I usually wait until the other cars come out. The rain's not coming till right at the end of the session, so we might do our 2 laps one after the other, like the other cars around our level do as well, just to give us the best chance that we can sort of having qualified. Sorokin the quickest first sector there, obviously he's the first out. Hamilton quicker though at the moment, so we're just going to see what sort of lap time Sergei Sorokin can do. We seemed rather slow during practice. We weren't actually the quickest. We were like, Ocon was down in 14th, Sorokin was down in, I think, 17th. A long way behind. We see Hamilton, Ocon and Sorokin about a second quicker, slower than the cars right at the front of the grid. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into the pits and we're going to follow the Force India guys back out onto track here. So if we come into the pits, have we seen anyone do their second lap here? No, no one's doing their second lap just yet. So once we start seeing the other cars come out to do their second laps, and we start seeing the Haas's come out, so we're going to get Sorokin out again for his, and then we're going to get Ocon out again for his second lap. So then we'll just see if we can go any quicker on the second lap. There's a little bit of track grip Shouldn't make that much of a difference. If you look at the code in the game, there is about a 0.5 second difference over a track with no grip to a track with full grip. So there is the potential to go a little bit quicker here. Whether that will be the case or not is another question, and we won't be able to find out until everyone else has done their qualifying laps to find out where we actually finished on the grid. But Sorokin here going a little bit quicker. He was a second down on 1.1 seconds down on Sebastian Vettel after that first lap. 7 tenths or almost 8 tenths down this time. He's going to come across the line. Is he going to improve? Stays 13th, only improves a tiny little bit. Esteban Ocon was 1.031 behind. He's now under a second behind. He improves by a massive margin then, almost 3 tenths up on that lap. Moves himself up into 8th place, but we're not going to be able to see where we come back out in qualifying until we go over the grid in just a second. So here's the grid for the 2019 British Grand Prix. Vettel, Hamilton on the front row of the grid, although swapping over from the last race, I think. Yeah, so they're on the front row of the grid. Valtteri Bottas third in the Ferrari, Max Verstappen fourth in the Red Bull, Danny Rick fifth in the Red Bull, K-Mag sixth in the Mercedes, the Silver Arrow, Nico Hulkenberg as usual in the Renault. Up there, 7th place, but we know Renault strategy usually does them in towards the end of the race. Esteban Ocon, now over his dodgy neck, should be hanging around till the end of the race. 8th place for him, an amazing qualifying session. Roman Grosjean 9th for Roman Grosjean in the Haas. Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren 10th. Felix Rosenqvist in his debut season in the Renault 11th. Carlos Sainz in the Haas 12th. Sergei Sorokin, a good qualifying from him, 13th. And we see Nikita Mazepin quite far up the order, 14th, ahead of Kimi Raikkonen in the McLaren 15th. His stats have started to drop pretty rapidly now as he's in the twilight of his career. He's losing performance as this season goes on now, so obviously we're going to be seeing a new McLaren driver there next season, I would feel. Sergio Perez in the Force India 16th, Pierre Gasly 17th in the Toro Rosso, 18th for Charles Leclerc in the Sauber. Marcus Ericsson, has he got a dodgy neck? He has, 19th in the Sauber. And Billy Johnson, the American driver, all the way down in 20th place in the Toro Rosso. So here we go, lights are about to go out because Ocon is in the top 10. He couldn't start on the medium, but as we see, everyone going for the super softs here. We're the only team on harder compound tyres, but Ocon off the line brilliantly. We're trying something a little bit different with Sorokin. We're going to try and just hold on to the fuel in the early going. He's made a really good start up into 9th place, but why we've gone for that soft tyre, there is a little bit of rain, which might be able to see us utilise the intermediate tyre. But we might also be able to get through that and not really pit, because the rain, as you can see, it's only about a quarter of the way up. We might be able to sort of save ourselves a pit stop, because the intermediates aren't really effective, or not fully effective, in this sort of range that the rain's going to hit. So we're just keeping our options open with Sorokin for that point in the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Ocon has moved himself up into 3rd place. Look at that, he's got ahead of the Mercedes of Magnussen, Danny Rick and Verstappen in the Red Bulls. A bad start for those two, but Magnussen's coming back at Ocon early on here. He's going to make that move, obviously. Our Mercedes powered car is no match for the overpowered Silver Arrow, although we should be able to hold off the Haas behind it, although on a lot softer tyres, but he's gone through that tyre pretty quickly. It's Carlos Sainz. So can we get pushing now to try and keep this Haas behind us? If we've got a little bit of room to manoeuvre with this tyre. We just try and build a little bit of a gap over this Haas car whilst the Red Bulls are stuck behind it. That would possibly be the best solution for us going forward here. Sorokin, meanwhile, his tyres are pretty much there. What's the weather like at the moment? 21 degrees. Just a tiny bit of rain that we're sort of holding on for here. And that is Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso making a really good start as well. So we can just sort of hold back here. No, we'll keep pushing because we know these guys are going to pit. If we go to lap 16, we can one-stop this with Sorokin. If we can just get through that rain, we can one-stop with Sorokin. The rain doesn't look heavy enough that it's going to cause problems. Obviously, Ocon will need to pit, and we're going to get back now. We've got a little bit of a gap over that Haas that was behind us, about a second. That's good enough for me. Sorokin, meanwhile, has managed to get past Stoffel Van Dorn there. It looks like Van Dorn dropping down the order. Sorokin, a wonderful drive from him, up into 8th place now. Obviously, just as we thought during the race, the parts that we've got in the car that are crucial to this track seem to be serving us pretty well and got us away off the line really well And yeah, we're just sort of holding on until this rain comes now. Ocon's got a gap. Sorokin moves down to 9th place as Van Dorn comes back. But we've got Max Verstappen, who has crashed out here in a cloud of smoke. Just a yellow flag in Sector 1. There's going to be no safety car. But Sorokin still in this 8th place. Just keep pushing on these tyres as it is. And we can go in high mode with him now for a little bit, as we've got a Haas of Roman Grosjean trying to challenge him here. The Ferrari powered car trying to get past Ocon. Meanwhile, still holding on to this. He's got about a second gap back to Carlos Sainz still. Just sort of waiting for any of these guys around the front of the order to make a pit stop. Sorokin though under pressure at the moment. Looks like he's going to be able to hold on to that spot. So we're back on lap 7. Sergei Sorokin still 8th place, although Valtteri Bottas, I don't know whether he had a really bad start, whether he ran wide into the first corner. He managed to move himself back up to 9th place now and putting Sergei Sorokin under a little bit of pressure. We're just going to cool off these tyres. There's no point really battling with Valtteri Bottas. He's not who we're racing today. You don't want to lose that much time to him. That allows Roman Grosjean to get past us, but Sergei Sorokin not on form here. Esteban Ocon is still in this 4th place. He's still ahead of the Red Bulls. Although Max Verstappen has crashed, but he's still ahead of Danny Rick. He's got a 2-second gap back to Danny Rick. And Sergei Sorokin has now dropped behind Roman Grosjean. Obviously, our strategy a lot different to theirs. We're just sort of running here a little bit slower. We know they're on the faster compound tyre. Although, have we just seen someone pit? Gasly Mazepin has pitted. Is someone further up the order pit, or have we? Must have been Kevin Magnussen. Where's Kevin Magnussen? There he is, all the way out into 15th place. Still waiting to see what this rain brings and whether it's worth it to put Esteban Ocon onto the intermediate tyre as well. He's got another 4 laps left in this tyre, and he would then be able to pretty much finish the race on a medium tyre. So we're just going to have to play it by ear and see whether the AI starts to bring any of their cars in as well. Whether they start to do that, we're just going to try and recover a little bit of fuel here, whereas Sorokin, we can just keep him going here in high mode. These tyres not in any danger of wearing away anytime soon, although I do want to conserve a little bit because they're going a little bit too long, because obviously we can't do this race on 2 medium tyres. He would have to come in, he would need to get a long way, wouldn't he, to be able to finish this race doing a 1 stop, because I can't put him on another medium tyre as per my own rules here. So yeah, it looks like we would want to get Sorokin. Sort of forgot my own rule there that we can't use the do a 1 stop using the same tyre compound. Don't know what I was thinking there, but yeah, so we get Sorokin pushing a little bit. He's currently 5th place now. Ocon is in 2nd. Obviously a lot of these other cars have pitted around here. Can we, if we can just keep Ocon holding on till this rain starts, we can do maybe a lap or a few laps on the intermediate tyre. Whether we will be quick enough around that time, it doesn't look like any of the AI cars are coming in to fit the intermediate tyres. But obviously these are all going to be doing another stop, so it possibly would be worth us getting onto an intermediate here as Ocon goes first, as a lot of the other cars have now gone into the pits. Sorokin's tyres are overheating, but we can just let him run as it is at the moment, and we're pretty close to the rain here. If we see Perez come into the pits for the intermediate tyre this time, then that would decide my own strategy. If he comes out on the super softs or anything like that, I know the rain's not going to be bad enough. What's he come out on? He's gone for a super soft tyre here. So we're going to do the same with Ocon. It doesn't look like anyone's going to come into the pits for the intermediate tyre. So what we're going to do, we're at the sort of point where we could possibly get this medium tyre to the end of the race. Oh, it's running pretty close here. The rain is not going to be that bad, so we're just going to keep this pushing. We're going to try the little strategy of going onto the inters and then onto the soft with Sorokin. It's just whether we can get this medium tyre to the end of the race. That says a risk, but it's only due to the guys fixing the parts in the car. There should be no risk here. So Ocon's going to get into the pits. We're going to push him. Maybe we should have gone for this intermediate. Maybe a little bit of a risk. There we go. Ocon is back out into 6th place. We'll just look after this medium tyre now. Oh, we're seeing cars come in for the intermediate, but we know we've saved ourselves a pit stop here. Whereas Sorokin, he's going to get in for this intermediate now. He's taking a little bit of a risk for Ocon to try and move him up the order. Ooh. Did we make the right decision? only a couple of laps and we saved ourselves a pit stop. So if we've saved ourselves about net 5 seconds maybe. Oh, we're ignoring it. Ocon. I know your teammate's coming in, but... So Sorokin's out onto the intermediate, which he can just push all out because the rain's not going to be here that long. We're just going to have to sort of see. Sorokin's back out into 6th place here. He's got a chance of chasing down his teammate. As we see, the cars up here haven't come in for this Inter, so there's a chance, because the rain's not there, we should be able to do comparable times on this medium tyre to what the Inter can do. So we just need to get a few further laps forward into this. We see Vettel coming to the pits for this Inter, so he's going to have to go for another pit stop after this as well, which is possibly going to work in our favour. We might have a chance of getting Ocon up onto the podium. We're doing a 119 to the 122 so far. We're not going to be able to see for another lap here, so if we just do this next lap. Sorokin's chasing down Ocon though. Is he about 5 seconds quicker? Obviously, we're just saving a pit stop here. A 116 to a 121, so it's about 5 seconds maybe for 2 laps. Obviously, do have Sorokin. We're not going to know whether this has actually worked for us until we sort of come back into the pits. Obviously, Ricciardo stayed out on dry tyres as well. A risk with Ocon. Can we make a risky strategy work in the rain to move Ocon up the order a little bit here? And we want to sort of get in a little bit quicker, but Sorokin has managed to move himself into a really good position for the rest of this race. Esteban Ocon now, we're sort of comparable on times on this lap. 121 to the 115s. No, it's still a little bit there, but the rain is starting to ease off now. So we'll just see what the lap times are like after this. We're only 10 seconds behind, so we would come back out in front of Sorokin once he pitted, and we know Ocon can now go to the end of the race on the medium tyre. Obviously, the cars that are going to come into the pits are going to be on a lot quicker tyre. Still another 5 seconds there, but the rain is going to start to stop now, and it might be about high time that we start to think about getting Sorokin off this intermediate tyre earlier rather than later, because this rain is stopping. No, we'll do one more lap with him, and now he's got 11 laps remaining, so he can get into this soft. We can't use a medium tyre again. There's no chance of getting to the end on a super soft. So there we go into the pits. Sorokin, who is in the race lead at the moment, obviously he won't be sticking around there. Ocon up into 2nd place, which puts him effectively 1st place now, but we're not going to be hold off Hamilton and Vettel, but a podium place could be on. A podium place could be on the books here. We're just going to see where Sorokin feeds back out as well. This riskier strategy seems to have paid off. He was sort of about 4th place, but if we can stay in front of Hulkenberg here, we're still on this intermediate tyres. We've given ourselves a massive gap over the cars behind, so we're on for a podium here. This risky strategy working off, or paying off for Ocon here, and we're going to have to look after these tyres as well with Sorokin, and we're going to have to look after the fuel as well with Ocon, who is currently leading this race. Sorokin currently on form for a podium place, but we're not going to be at home off Sebastian Vettel here. Managed to get back out in 3rd place. An amazing drive from Sorokin here, considering his strategy is not being any different really to the other cars around him. Obviously some have done a pit stop more, but it's just about getting these medium tyres to the end of the Grand Prix now with Esteban Ocon. He's got Hamilton chasing him down. Vettel 5 seconds behind. I don't think we're going to be able to keep either of these guys behind, but we should be able to keep Kevin K-Mag behind us, and we should be able to keep K-Mag behind us, maybe with Sorokin. If we get looking after these tyres from this point forward, obviously we're on fresher tyres than Kevin Magnussen as well, so if we just look after these tyres, once he starts closing this distance, if he does start, we see him closing it down. What was he doing on the last lap? A 114, obviously. We're not going to be able to see what we're doing here until we come across the line here. Ocon, meanwhile, has conceded 1st place to Lewis Hamilton, still running 2nd place here. Still, he's 2 seconds slower than Sebastian Vettel, obviously. The Ferrari a lot quicker than us, obviously, on these softer compound tyres. But these softs might wear away before the end of the Grand Prix. Obviously these mediums can run down to 0% before they start losing any sort of performance. As we see K-Mag in the 114s, about 1.5 seconds quicker than Sorokin, but on much more, or on older tyres. So Sorokin's got a real good chance of holding on to this 4th place here. Esteban Ocon, meanwhile, still 2nd place. Vettel is closing him down, still almost 2 seconds a lap quicker as we come across the line, doing a 1:16.3. Vettel doing a 1:14.9. Should we go and push a little bit? We've got a little bit of room. If we push for a little bit, see what we can sort of get out of this lap. See if we can go any quicker than the 1:16.3 that we did. I don't think we are going to be able to go any quicker. And Vettel is right on our tail now. As we come around onto the start-finish straight, we do a 1:15.2, a much better lap. But obviously, we can't keep that sort of pace going here. 1:13.9 from Vettel, but his soft tyres are wearing away here, which is going to be good news for us. Sorokin, looks like we could be fourth place, might be a stretch here. K-Mag is coming back. It's just whether those soft tyres hold out, but Ocon doing an amazing job to hold on to second place here over Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton starting to run away in the lead of this Grand Prix. Hope this put Ocon in the driver's standing. Still keeps him fifth place. It would put us still fourth, but would obviously, with 92 points, would secure our fourth place for much of the season this season. It looks like K-Mag started slowing down as well. 1:15.7, lapping pretty similar to Sergei Sorokin here. So we're on for an amazing race if we can sort of keep this podium going here. Obviously, it's going to be one of our two guys in the podium. Sebastian Vettel, though, looking every which way that he can to get past Sergei Sorokin. Has he pushed his tyres too much to make that move stick? He's already on 48% with only 4 laps remaining, and I'm guessing his tyres are going to be pretty heated up. So there might be a chance of getting that second place back towards the end of the Grand Prix, but this would be, after 7 rounds, Ocon's third podium of the season, whether we can make this stick or not. And obviously, a third and fourth would be our best performance to date overall over the, what would this be? The 24th episode, 24th race would be the best race of the entire series so far, if we can just keep this going. We're about there with the fuel that we've been sort of looking after here. The tyres are still pretty fresh. We're just going to keep it just in case K-Mag decides to make a late surge. He's about a second behind. He's actually starting to make that late surge now, isn't he? So if we start speeding up Sorokin, try and hold on to this fourth place. Ocon, that is Marcus Ericsson, that he's just lapped there. I thought we were, for some reason I got in my head that someone was trying to overtake him there, but obviously the only person that would be trying to overtake him would be Sorokin, who's currently behind him. But this one-stop strategy, just outlasting the rain, going through the rain on the dry tyre compound, has worked out swimmingly here for Esteban Ocon. Maybe it would have been quicker, but we're not going to know that. But really happy with this third place now. Vettel, these tyres would wear away from 20%. He's going to be able to hold on to those to the end of the Grand Prix here, and we might need to switch to low mode with the fuel at some point. As it is, looks like Kevin Magnussen's starting to drop behind here a little bit now. We can just sort of dial back as we come past these back markers now. We go past Marcus Ericsson with Sergei Sorokin. The weather's going to hold to the end of the race. We do have some room to push with this tyre now, though. 25% left with just 2 laps remaining. See what sort of lap time we can put in here as we push on this medium tyre. We're going a little bit quicker this lap now, half a second quicker than the last lap. And we're starting to close down Sebastian Vettel here. Obviously not enough time to do that. No, we're not. He's still going quicker than us. But third place as we enter the final lap now. We do that last lap on a 1:14.6. Vettel still a lot quicker on this used soft tyre, although that soft tyre is now at 18%. Obviously not enough of this Grand Prix to go to close that gap up. Sergei Sorokin's got room to push as well. We might as well push him into attack mode on his final lap of the Grand Prix. He's going to hold on to that fourth place. An amazing drive for him. Ocon, though, chasing down Vettel. There's not enough of this lap left to do. As you see, Vettel performance is just gone at the end of this Grand Prix, but we only close up to 3.3 seconds. Ocon finishes on the podium once again. Sorokin comes across the line in fourth. Hamilton wins, Vettel second. Magnussen in the Mercedes fifth. Danny Rick in the Red Bull 6th, Carlos Sainz in the Haas 7th, Van Dorn in the McLaren 8th, Funkerberg in the Renault 9th, and Roman Grosjean getting both Haases into the points places here. Roman Grosjean 10th place. And there we see Lewis Hamilton, another win this season. I think he's still winning the Drivers' Championship. I can't actually remember. No, I just watched it 2 seconds ago. Whilst you're recording a video, things just pop out of your head and you just can't get them back. But The strategy worked out really well there. We might even see Sebastian Vettel with some risky parts on his car. No, we don't. We still finished 3rd and 4th overall. Absolutely brilliant. 27 points this weekend. 3rd place for Esteban Ocon. Hamilton wins, as we know. That puts Esteban Ocon still in 5th place. Danny Rick has moved down. Sebastian Vettel has jumped into his 2nd, but look at that. Lewis Hamilton with the 65-point gap after 7 rounds this season, almost at the halfway point of the season. An amazing points haul from Lewis Hamilton early on. Vettel has had a crash and a few points finishing. Valtteri Bottas in the Ferrari, 7th place, underperforming once again, just like he did in the Mercedes last season. I know he's really unhappy with the Ferrari team. He could be leaving at the end of the season, but look at that. We've now got 89 points. 4th place in the Constructors, holding strong. We've got a massive gap of 52 points over the Haas team in 5th, so 4th place looks set to be ours as the season goes on, and if we hold on to that, it would be an amazing performance. We came overall 2nd in this Grand Prix. We should have £845,000 now, because we get a little bit of the bonus money from PNC plus the money we got from running Lance Stroll in practice. So all that money goes back towards the car. And yeah, just things looking good here as we head to Munich. Gearbox and brakes are crucial here. So after the highs of the British Grand Prix, could be the lows of the Munich Grand Prix. Looks like it's going to be raining in qualifying as well there. But we'll just move on to the interview from Karun Shanduk here. And Aston Martin Red Bulls Racing's Verstappen had a bit of a disaster in that race, finishing down in 20th. We'll just say they got unlucky. That would butter him up. He will be an option at the end of the season. But anyway, that is where we're going to leave it. We've got the German Grand Prix coming up next time out. But another wonderful finish here. So leave a comment, subscribe, like, all the usual stuff. But anyway, I'll see you down the road in Germany for the Munich Grand Prix. And goodbye.